She was not yet a nun, so hadn't felt she needed to perform the mutilation yet, and had kept it a secret with her wimples. Rather than admit as much, Annabel set down the brush, donned her wimple, and headed for the door with a rushed, "Thank you for waking me, Maud." She could feel the woman's eyes burning into her back as she hurried out of her room, and took a moment to worry over whether the nun would search her cell for other infractions to tattle on her for. But there was nothing she could do about that, so Annabel turned her attention to why her mother was there instead. She started out, nearly running in an effort to get to the abbess quickly, but a scowl of displeasure from the prioress as she passed her made Annabel slow to a fast walk, until she turned the corner and the prioress could no longer see her. She then broke into a run again, and didn't slow until she turned into the hall where the abbess had her rooms and office. Annabel spotted the two women talking outside the abbess's door at once, but knew her mother only because she wasn't the abbess. Annabel had been sent to the Abbey at the tender age of 7, and hadn't seen her since. This woman looked nothing like the mother of her memory. Her mother had been a fair-haired beauty with sparkling eyes and colour in her cheeks. She'd always been smiling or laughing. This woman was pale, her hair more grey than blonde, her eyes alive with worry rather than joy. She wasn't smiling. Her mouth was tightly compressed, anxiety showing there as well as in the way she was wringing her hands. "Ah, Annabel," the abbess said as she spotted her. The good woman then turned to Annabel's mother and offered a reassuring smile as she patted her hand. "Here she is. You can be on your way now. All will be well." "Thank you," Lady Withram whispered, staring at Annabel with fierce concentration as she approached. Actually, the way she was looking at her was rather disconcerting, Annabel decided. If her mother was not quite what she recalled, she herself apparently was nothing like what her mother had expected, or perhaps hoped for. Annabel was sure it was disappointment she saw flash across the woman's face, before her expression closed up tight. Annabel was still only halfway up the hall when the abbess turned and strode into her office, leaving Lady Withram to rush forward to greet her, although greet would be something of a misnomer. She didn't even slow, let alone stop, but hurried forward, catching Annabel's arm and whirling her back the way she'd come, saying, "We must hurry." Eyes wide, Annabel allowed herself to be dragged along to the front doors. Frowning slightly then, she asked, "Where are we going?" "Home," was her mother's surprising answer. "Home?" she asked, with bewilderment. "But I thought this was to be my home. What—" "Are the horses ready?" Her mother interrupted her, and for a moment Annabel thought she was asking her the question, but they had just stepped out of the Abbey doors and a burly old man waiting by a carriage answered. "Aye, my lady. The abbess sent the prioress out to ensure we got 2 of the finest beasts they have here in trade for our own. They're well rested and fit. They'll get us back easily as quickly as ours got us here." The answer drew Annabel's gaze to the horses in question. She recognised both of them, and they were indeed the best the Abbey had to offer. Annabel had no doubt the horses being left behind were of equal or better quality, though. The abbess would accept nothing less. Annabel glanced forward again at a tug on her arm. Her mother still held her tightly and now dragged her towards the waiting carriage. "Thank you, Aelric." Lady Withram climbed grimly up into the carriage with his help, and dragged Annabel behind her by the arm she still clasped. Really, the woman had her in a death grip, as if she feared she might break free and flee at any moment. Her nails were actually digging into Annabel's flesh, so it was something of a relief when her mother pulled her down to sit beside her in the carriage and finally released her hold. Annabel took a moment to rub her arm as Aelric closed the door and sent the carriage rocking as he climbed up onto his bench. But once they started to move, she glanced to her mother a little warily and asked, "Where are we going?" She thought she was being rather forbearing. After all, she'd just been dragged from her bed and out of the only home she'd known for the last 14 years with nary a word of explanation. However, her mother looked vastly annoyed at the question. "I told you! Home!" Abbey.